Here at Veteran Trash Talk, we actually vet our sponsors. We don't just take their money and run like a Butterbar lieutenant lost on the land nav course. Are you finally ready to plant your flag and claim your territory? Maybe it's time to use that VA loan to buy a home. Or hell, maybe you're looking to refinance and put some extra cash in your pocket for more questionable life decisions. Either way, the Veterans Mortgage Source, powered by Canopy Mortgage, has your six. Look, buying a home or refinancing can feel like getting overrun on a bad op. Chaotic, confusing, and full of obstacles that make no damn sense. That's where Corey and his team come in. They're like the QRF of home loans, ready to pull you out of the chaos and guide you to the best program for you. And trust me, they'll answer all your questions. Yeah, even the dumb ones. Whether you're a salty vet or fresh out of barracks still trying to figure out where your TA-50 went. Great service, solid rates, and a team that actually understands the military life. That's why all of us here at Veteran Trash Talk trust them to do right by every veteran and their family. Ready to lock it in? Give Corey a call or shoot him a text at 808-699-7874. That's 808-699-7874. Don't wait. Unless you like overpaying and getting treated like an FNG. The Veterans Mortgage Source is powered by Canopy Mortgage, LLC. All loans are subject to credit and property approval.
What's up, Trash Talkers? Listen, it's impossible to fight, okay, if you don't know what you're fighting for. Does that make sense? Like, if you're in the dumps and you're struggling with mental health, things of that nature, it's going to continue tearing you down, all right? Because you're consistently trying to fight something, which is that demon, which is usually something from the past, right? Maybe that why needs to be fighting for your future. Let that be your why. Get the hell up and start fighting for your future. Stop fighting things that happened in the past. Easier said than done, right? Go seek help. It's okay not to be okay. A lot of people need to hear this. You are more of a warrior and a fighter if you stand up and say, hey, this has to stop. I need to go seek help. The stigma, everything has changed. It's okay not to be okay.
And so my honesty cap is dedicated to a little, we'll call it a public service announcement for civilians and other people in the military. There are a few people that you should always take their stories with a grain of salt. Vegans, CrossFitters, and special operations guys that tell you that they were special operations without being prompted. The first thing they say is, yeah, I used to be soft. Right. The only unicorn in that entire group is like a special operations guy that was like a vegan and did CrossFit. That guy's probably going to stay quiet for a little bit longer because he's confused as what he should talk about first. That's the only reason. Right. Anybody that says that they were soft without being prompted or without it being like a normal part of your communications is probably either an enabler or going to tell you a bunch of stuff that's not exactly true.
What's up, Trash Talkers? What's up, Gruntworks Nation? Big Earl. You heard Dave talk. You heard Buddy talk. Now, Buddy's all about, he is a Green Beret and he's Special Forces and yada, yada, yada. But he will not tell you that unless, he really, really likes you and he's made dinner for you. However, what Veteran Trash Talk does is we bring a lot of light to the veteran community, the first responder community. We promote that what we're doing well, all right, whether we're running for office, we started a business, nonprofit, all those things. Veteran Trash Talk is a super clean page. We got Gruntworks if you want to go there and raise a little hell a little bit, but we are here to promote veteran-owned businesses. So the show you are about to watch is a veteran or veterans or a spouse of a veteran or a child of a veteran that's doing great things in the community, and we need your help promoting them and getting them all the success that they need. All right, guys, enjoy the show.
This is the Veteran Trash Talk Hour, hosted by Nick, Dave, and Buddy. Real warriors making fun of other real warriors. Try to not get triggered.
What's up, Trash Talkers? What is up, Gruntworks Nation? Welcome to Season 4, Episode 11 of the Trash Talk Hour. Special guest today is Army veteran and author Brendan Kelly, who will be discussing his upcoming book, The Echo of Silence. And joining me today are the Big Earl. Well, is the Big Earl, because Buddy's not here.
Buddy's not
Buddy?
here. I don't know. He's probably out doing secret squirrel stuff, you know. Actually, no, he's corporate now, and so that's why he bends the knee to the man, works on the weekends, loses all his family time, just like the Army again. So I don't really know where he is. And a rumor was it was a herpes flare up, but it's hard to be on a podcast when you got a herpes flare up. So that's what
I know what he told me when he texted me the other day. He's like, "Dave, I'm sorry, man. It's true. It's true." Oh.
No, but I've been having a good Saturday, triggering you on Facebook. You know, just catching you off guard again. I mean, it's too easy. It's too easy. I gotta.
I do at this point. I just post something just to get you riled up. It's
no,
reverse
you
psychology.
actually made a comment that didn't make sense to his post, but that's your little German anti group that we won't get into that one too much.
Absolutely not.
It's fair. It's okay. It's okay.
Facebook terrorist Nicholas Cottrell, and let me
it's
just
okay.
post
I mean,
something.
again,
Like,
you're not the first people to try this, right? This isn't the first time in history that Europe's kicked the Jews out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the first time.
Well, it's good to be back.
Man, what's up, Tanner? Tanner Port said he just got his. It's not the Epstein shirt, Tanner. It's the we're gonna get shut down. All right, it's just a shirt with a picture of the files. All right,
yeah,
that's all it is.
Thanks for the support, Tanner. I saw your order. Yeah, and to everybody else who's bought that shirt, I love it. Love it. It was my design. I'm proud of it. You know,
yeah, it's a good one. I have stuff to get mine, but I'm waiting for the right time to buy it and wear it. It's got to be at someplace cool. So, I mean, anyway. I travel a lot, but the triggered pansy shirt's the must on the travel. Like,
that's fair.
That's
fair. I get it. Yeah, that's definitely a conversation starter wherever you go.
Yeah. I had a pilot at Burbank Airport. I had a pilot because in Burbank you walk out to the plane. You know, you walk outside, and literally the pilot opened the window of the cockpit and was like, "That shirt is awesome," as I'm walking up to the plane.
It is good. It is good. All right. Well, we are going to kick it off. Go ahead.
I'll tell people to scan the QR code.
Oh, yeah. We are going to kick it off with a conspiracy. We're actually going to revisit a conspiracy. We didn't talk about one last week. We had that crazy video that Nick posted about the guy, was a SWAT guy on Tinder, or they caught him on Tinder swiping. But anyway.
Swiping left, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not good. We still don't know the full story. What happened afterwards? Like, was he married? Did his wife catch him? Was he not married? But who knows? We'll have to dig into that a little bit. But the conspiracy I'm going to talk about, we talked about it 2 or 3 weeks ago. At that point, we were at 4 or 5 missing scientists that have just come up, disappeared, just gone. And now the number is up to 10. So, Chris, play the video, and then we're going to discuss it real quick.
Scientists, at least. The White House now probing the disappearances of the people behind me, the deaths of 10 scientists at least. Let's break down some of the cases. For example, let's look at Michael David Hicks. He dies at the age of 59 years old. And David Michael Hicks, a longtime JPL scientist involved in asteroid and comet research, no public cause of death given. And then you have a situation like Monica Reza. Monica Reza vanished while hiking under weird circumstances. And then you have William Neal McCaslin. This guy disappeared in February, deep ties to the Air Force research programs. So everyone has a bit of a mystery to their passing, and people are wondering, with the very similar backgrounds, extremely bright people, extremely successful people, extremely valuable people, is this all related? As you heard, the president can't say yes or no publicly yet, but the mystery remains.
So again, it was 5 initially, right? Maybe a coincidence still, but 10, that's a freaking pattern. So I don't really have a new take. I think that they were disappeared is my take, but there are other takes floating around right now that it could be some foreign agency coming in and snatching them up because of the knowledge that they had, kind of like what we did with the Germans to create NASA, right?
Yeah, I mean, with that we had leverage on them. It was like, hey, face, you know, these trials, these Nuremberg trials, or come work for us.
Yep. Yeah.
It's up to you.
So I don't really know what's going on there. I don't know if Buddy's claim was they were taken to space or whatever to work with the aliens, I guess, because some of those guys were actually into the UAP program and all that stuff. So I don't know. They're definitely gone. I think they're gone. I don't want to say it's our government offing them because, you know, the president did announce that we're going to release all the UAP and alien stuff, and maybe they just knew too much. And if all that stuff comes out, they can't talk about it. I'm not sure. What's your take, brother? What's going on with these scientists?
It's China. Tanner says it's China, but more of a China, right? In the Trump language, China. Tanner, you should just sign on, Tanner. Tanner's got probably some of the most, he's probably most up to date on geopolitics in our friend group. We should probably just bring him on if you want. Tanner, just sign on, bro. But, yeah.
What's your take, Brendan? What's happening? Is it a coincidence or?
Well, you know, anytime we put the word government into any kind of sentence or story, there's too many what ifs out there. Now, I agree with you. 5, okay, that's a little strange. 10, okay, there's something going on that's not being shared with the rest of us reindeers out here. Some silly games taking place.
Yep.
My thoughts, just throwing it out there, they went into hiding. They're going to start their own thing.
Oh, yeah, because I think the general was the last one, the Air Force jet. I like that take. We haven't had that one yet, because the last one was, I think at the beginning of this year, was a retired Air Force general in New Mexico, and he just grabbed his pistol or whatever and told his wife, "I'm going hiking" or whatever, and just never came back.
Just grabbed his pistol. Interesting. Yeah, those of you watching on X, thanks. Big shout out to MBR Radio for sharing us. We get a lot of viewers whenever they do that. And I think Faceman and I are guest hosting on the H Train show next week. So we'll be on there with them
next Friday.
Somebody just scanned the Mortars Are Hung shirt. William's checking back in from Virginia. Again, that's not sexual. All right, that's literally what you do to a mortar. You hang it. All right, so
yep.
All right, so keep your head out of the gutter, all you people out there. All right, so it is what it is. There's some sexual connotation to it. We'll admit it. We'll just tell the truth. There's a little bit, but we are grunts.
Yeah, you think of a lot of the things we've done in the military, and it kind of leads itself into that.
Yeah,
you're spot on, brother.
Yeah. The person who wrote that Happy Gilmore in the movie Happy Gilmore, where he just does the bull dance with everything that he has. It's like that dude was definitely in the military. It's like you give a group of guys something, they're gonna find a way to make some type of sexual joke with it. Just give it to them for long enough.
It's gonna happen.
But
yeah.
But hey, big shout out to everybody watching. Really love it. Yeah, I mean, Brendan's take is pretty solid.
Good one.
Yeah.
Sounds like a sci-fi movie if that was the case, right? Now they're all working together in some underground lab.
Hey.
Right. And again, are they part of your boy Kerber's master plan? Is it part of the queue? Right? Is this where the chess pieces, as you would say, come into place? as Dave gets triggered about. Well,
No, they had too much. They had too much to do with space, and I think that guy thinks the Earth is flat and space is not real.
Why do you think they gave Elon a couple of months of of access to the government? And now he's up shooting up all in space and got all these rockets up there, and maybe he just needed a couple months to figure out everything he needed to do to take over the world.
Yeah, so, get the right people in the right place, and
yeah. Yeah, but I also agree that too many what ifs in the government. I for one, I get mad at a lot of people on social media for this, where you can't give the government that much credit.
Too much credit. Yeah.
Like you can't give like one person that much credit, especially. And then if the government knows about it, everybody knows about it. Now there are the rooms we talk about this, and there are the rooms of people that are talking that we don't know what they're saying. We don't know what they're doing, and they're doing whatever they want. What we got here, the Warren Commissioner's report still hasn't been released. Sorry, Bruce. We'll do our best. We'll put a shirt out about it.
We'll talk about it next week. Tune in next Saturday.
But yeah, man, I just got back from the Quad A Summit, the aviation summit in Nashville. Nashville is a good time. I recommend if you ever are bored, go to Nashville. If you're a hockey fan, go to a Preds game. That is a lot of fun. I went there. My buddy and I went to that game, and then as soon as you get out of the stadium, you're right on Broadway Street with all the country bars, and it's a pretty wild time. So go to Nashville. And there's a lot of cool stuff that's getting built in the areas of drones and all that kind of stuff. And so I don't know. What is this Air Force guy who specializes in missile going missing, and all these other guys? If you're working in New Mexico, like you're doing some secret squirrel stuff out there in White Sands, man. Like,
oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Like, no way he just goes missing. No way. But all right.
Yeah, he was also involved with the UAP program, though, too, supposedly. I mean, so now we're talking all the alien and UFO stuff, and like if you're watching, you're into all that stuff. Watch that new Bob Lazar documentary that just came out, and we've talked about Bob Lazar on the show, and he's been on Joe Rogan multiple times. A guy who was basically recruited to work in the secret space program and reverse engineer a fucking UFO that they had at whatever this place is called in Roswell, New Mexico. And like his story, just like the stuff that he describes and technology that he described back then that actually came out later. Like, I don't know. I want to believe the guy so much. It's badass. S4, is the area that supposedly happened. Yeah. But anyway, I just went off on a tangent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love alien
it's good.
stuff.
You don't do that very often, so I was letting you go. I was wondering how long it was going to go down. I was wondering what avenues it was going to take. So let it happen. But shout out to Sean Erickson checking in from the shitter. He's watching us on the shitter right now. If you're not following the Big Earls page, I haven't done one in a while. But the shitter talks are, it's everything you need to go on about for the rest of your life, understanding what's going on in the world of the news. If you pay attention to my shitter talks. All right. Well, I don't have to turn it over to Buddy for anything because he's not here. He's at the store getting Valtrex or whatever you get, whatever you get for that stuff. But yeah, traveling's always been a big part of my Book of Earl. And again, if you pay attention to the Book of Earl, your life has already gotten better and will continue to get better. I use a lot of the stuff in the Book of Earl that are from my own shortcomings. All right. They're from things that I failed at, things that I get triggered about, things that make me get upset. And I want to know if it upsets you too, and how do you handle it? But I'm going back to the airport thing. If you follow this, right, you know the tenets. All right. I'm about to write a whole new chapter of the Book of Earl just on airport etiquette. How should you act in an airport? There's the obvious ones like don't take your shoes off, right, on an airplane, right? They just don't do that. All right, you go get a job making $100 million a year and get a private jet if you want to take your shoes off. They just don't. That smells. That's disgusting. It bothers everybody around you. That one's a given. All right, so I'm just gonna start with the ones that I've already talked about and kind of rack and stack them. And I came up with a new one that's really upset me this week in travel. But the number one, this is the number one. Do not do. We're gonna call them the airportitudes. All right, just like the Beatitudes, or the airportitudes of life. All right, William Vokes is like, what the fuck? Hey, what's up, William? We're talking about what not to do in an airport, or what not to do on an airplane. All right, here's the number one thing you don't do. Everybody knows when the airplane docks, they ring that little bell, right, to let you know that you can take your seatbelt off. If you're not like in row, if you're not like in row 8, sit your ass down. All right, you ain't going nowhere. Okay, you're not. And then the same group of people are the ones that say, I have a connection to make. 90% of the plane has a connection to make. All right, 90% of that plane. So you thinking that you're going to sit and wait, and guess what? First class getting off first. Don't matter, right? So you're going to wait for that. But if you have a short flight, if you're booking that way, spend the extra $100 to get up into business class so you can get off the plane faster. All right, just do that. All right, that's the number one. Okay. Number two, when you're waiting to get on the airplane, when you're waiting, in the terminal, do not put your luggage on the seat next to you. All right, that is not what the seat next to you is for. There's a bunch of old ladies standing up. There's kids standing up, and you think that your space is so freaking important when you're about to get on a sardine can, anyways. Your space is so important that this seat next to you is for your luggage, and now I can't sit down. I can't sit down and wait. All right, you're a bad human being. All right, maybe you know what? Maybe you're not a bad human being. You just raised wrong. All right, you weren't spanked. That's probably what it was. You just weren't spanked. And now this is where I'm going to need your feedback on, because as I'm revising the Book of Earl, and I kind of like what William says, I'll just fart. Well, you know what? The airlines have that whole air thing. It only smells for a little bit, not that long. We have to find a way to solve this. We have to find a way to solve this problem, because it's really starting to trigger the shit out of me. And every time there's 3 things that go wrong in the hallways of the terminal. Number one, people standing, waiting in the middle of the hallway. Why? What in your brain are you like, this is where I should stop? This is where I should stop right now with my 5 kids, my stroller, this, and my uncle and my grandpa, and we should have a conversation. This is that's what went through your head when you have all this space.
Fatal funnel, right?
Right. And then I get it. This is sometimes where you just get caught, or you get caught in those tricky positions where do we follow international traffic laws? Do we follow American traffic laws? Do I walk on the right side? Right? Or on the left side? And if you're walking on the right side and you're coming at me, I have the right of way. All right, I am going and now we get caught in that. I'm just going to stop. I'm just going to stop and let you go. And you go. All right, it's bullshit. All right, there should be, even in COVID, we had the arrows to keep us all alive in the stores, and thank God for those people who thought of that, because I don't think any of us would be here right now if we didn't have the arrows in the aisles and to know where to walk. But yeah, I think that and I get it. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes you just get caught. Like you got to go to the bathroom, right? You've been on the plane for 3 hours, and that bathroom's across the freeway, called the hallway of the freeway, right? Then you got to get back to your side. I'll cut you some slack. But if you're just walking, I think you got to be on the right side, like normal traffic. And if you're not, you're an asshole. All right? It's that simple. And then if you're stopped in the middle, you're just like the protesters that block traffic. You should get run over. All right? Those little carts that drive with the handicap people, they should be able to run you over. You should be able to call it up, and then you just plow them out of the way. And then everybody gets happier, because we're already upset that we're traveling. Why are we adding all these extra stressors? Why am I not allowed to sit down because your luggage is more important than a human being? All right, we're not even going to get into the emotional support animals. All right, that's ridiculous. That is just, you don't fly. Don't fly if you got to bring your little. There's a difference, and Dave knows this. There's a difference. I should write this down for another airport attitude. Support animals. Dave knows the difference. All right, there are trained dogs that are there to support you and there to get you through some things. And then there's ones that you just thought you'd go get a certificate, and they're little pieces of shit and they won't shut up on the airplane. All right, those are not trained dogs. They should not be allowed. All right, but anyways, that's what triggered me this week. But what are you guys' thoughts? What are your thoughts? Am I out of line here? Are these not things that people should just kind of know? Or do we need to teach this? Should be an etiquette class.
Well, I'm going to tell you that the people you describe are the same people at the grocery store that leave their cart in the middle of the aisle and walk 3/4 of the way down to grab something. And they're the same people that will walk on the wrong side of traffic with their head down on their cell phone. And, I was blessed with the ability to be very sarcastic and rude when I need to be. And if I see them coming at me, unfortunately for them, I'm the guy that's not moving. And as soon as they get close to me, I'm going to make a very loud, annoying noise and hopefully scare the crap out of them. And then just have some fun with it. But I agree with you. I think some of them probably needed some spankings, maybe a little bit of taste of soap in their life. But it's common courtesy. And people get wrapped up in their little worlds. And I don't know. They forget that there's more than one person in this world full of multi-billion people.
Yeah. Sean Erickson says, stop being a triggered pansy. Well, Sean, it's our number one selling shirt because I am a triggered pansy. All right. It's the whole point.
I thought you were going to say leaving shopping carts in the parking lot and not bringing them back.
Well, you could hide behind that and saying you're just leaving that for the next homeless guy so he doesn't have to steal it. You can just take it.
No, that is the worst to me. And then if it's windy outside and they just hit a random car after you left, no, fucking put the damn cart back. That's what triggers me massively. And it's fit people too. You can't just walk the freaking 10 feet to put it back where it belongs. You just leave it right there in an open parking spot, Oh, that gets me. But to you, Nick, yeah, I get it. I guess I haven't really paid attention, but you travel a lot more now for work, so you're dealing with it, on a weekly basis. I'm just when I'm in the airport, I have a little drink. What's that?
Yeah. I said you got to wear that shirt when you travel, and every airport employee will thank you for wearing it. They will thank you for wearing it because they just they're the ones that actually got to deal with these people I'm talking about. Oh my gosh! And I haven't lowered myself to that level yet.
Breathe.
I think the next time I travel, I'm going to get on one of those handicap carts just to run somebody over. I'm going to be like, hey, Abdul,
right?
Abdul, take that crowd out.
You're saying you're going to drive?
They are holding everybody up, right? So, that's a must. It's got to happen. All right, that's what triggered me this week. So, hey, go in the chat, guys. You just go in the chat. Tell us what triggers you, right? Tell us what you don't like about the airport. All right, don't just say people. All right. Oh, here we go. Sean, you must be on that special.
Sean, I don't get triggered, man. I just speak my mind.
Yeah, he doesn't get triggered.
I don't get triggered.
I'm
just happy-go-lucky. I'm the face man, bro.
Yeah.
Peace and love. Peace and love. Shut the fuck up, Sean. No.
Yeah. Sean's got a little bit of that 10th Mountain Whiskey in him, probably. Go to 10th Whiskey.
That's good.
10thwhiskey.com. Put in the code VTT. Get yourself a discount.
Yes, you do. Can we kick people out of the chat? My wife's here.
Yeah. I thought, well, Nah, well, she, Megan's on there because she can't get up right now and throw something at you for lying. That's what
she can't. She can't.
Yeah.
She's pretty messed up with her back. So yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. Hope you get better, Megan. There's only like 3 people on this planet that I wish back pain on, because I know what that's like. You're not one of them, so I hope you get better. I hope you feel better. But there are some people that, maybe a vertebrae should just go out today. Like one of those people standing in the middle of the aisle of the shopping cart. You should just everything should just stop working today. I get the pleasure of introducing our guest. All right, Brendan. So he wrote a book. Chris, put the picture up. All right. Normally the host, us important people, the ones that are shedding light on the community, we get a copy of the book to read. Didn't get it. So now we are going into this dark and hoping that we can start up a conversation about what it is. But this is what it looks like. Chris obviously didn't upload it until now. Lazy mofracky. All right. But The Echo of Silence, a novel for finding home, about finding home. No, I'm excited to dive into this. Obviously, I read a little bit on the website. You were a 22-year Army vet. Started out in the air defense artillery world. Did what Face Man did and went recruiter because you didn't want to have to face the bad guys anymore. No big deal, is what it is. And then you were like, I'm going to write a book. And that now all you're hoping is that the people in the military, the larger population of us, can read, which is a stretch. So you got to find out if we can even read it. But here it is, brendankelly.com. All right, absolutepublishing.com, The Echo of Silence. All the links are in there. But Brendan, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your service. What got you to writing a book, and everything you got going on. So welcome to the Trash Talk Hour, otherwise known as the Dumpster Fire. And let's hear it.
All right, thank you all. Appreciate it. And boy, where to start? It's been too long. But with the military, like you said, Big Earl, started off in air defense. I was a career soldier, eventually got tagged to do some recruiting, ended up finishing my career in recruiting. Then, prior to recruiting, I had a couple of deployments, and, unfortunately my deployments, were very much engaged with whoever we were calling the enemy on the other side of the scope or barrel. And when I retired, I taught high school for a bit, which was crazy. Then, did some corporate gigs. But, the one thing I didn't do, and I love how you kick off the segments of the shows with, when you're in the car talking about it's okay to not be okay, is one, I wasn't okay with not being okay. And sadly, two, I thought I could do it on my own, take care of myself on my own, figure out all this beautiful life crap and experience on my own. And unfortunately, the demons were a little bit stronger in that moment. But I'll cut a long story short. Through some very bad mental health problems, attempted suicides, I eventually woke up in a hospital in a mental health unit thanks to my wife. She was smart enough to call 911 and Veteran Crisis Line, and they said, get him to a hospital ASAP. And I was fortunate enough to wake up in a mental health unit, and with the help of my wife and dear family and friends, made that commitment to get right, to do the work, to put in the effort and to be vulnerable and open. And part of my therapy was always, just writing, just kind of getting those thoughts out on paper. And then, one day kind of looking back over it all, I was like, thinking to myself, I think I got something here that could help my fellow brothers and sisters and family members that, had served or been a part of service in whatever way. So I put together a book, started pitching it to different publishers, got a handful of no's, spoke to a handful that, didn't feel right. And then eventually linked up with Absolute Publishing where we connected. And now I got this book coming out here in early June, possibly sooner. As soon as I get the hard copy, you will get a copy. And if you're not able to read it, I will create you a picture
Hey, we're not
book.
Marines. We can handle it. We're not Marines. We can do it.
I'll create you a nice little picture book.
We'll get by.
Yeah. No,
or an audiobook. An audiobook
hey,
works.
We're glad
right?
you're still here, brother. We're glad you're still here, man.
Yeah,
we're
glad
you're
you
here.
didn't succeed and complete suicide. I have multiple guests on there that
Me too.
Real thankful. So
yeah.
And then another big shout out to your wife for calling for help, because I mean depression sucks, and it just, I mean, we've had enough doctors on the show that talk about it, and enough people who have went through it to where like it almost becomes where you don't even see it as an issue sometimes, and everybody else around you's messed up, not you, and so
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, you're spot on. I can remember thinking like, what the hell aren't these people getting? What don't they understand? And, because of my own ignorance at the time, I hadn't shared anything with them. They didn't know what was going on up in my melon of craziness. And I'll be blunt, that's how it was, and until I was able to be vulnerable and truthful to myself and to those loved ones, then we could start actually working together and trying to make me a better person.
Yeah, we always say change starts within, right? I think that's one of the biggest issues where a lot of our brothers and sisters are struggling, but they don't want to get help because they feel like they're going to look weak, or, In the military, we're always taught to just be quiet and not say anything, like you're going to be good. And then they get out and they still want to stay strong, but what they don't realize is it's continuously tearing them down and making them actually weaker and weaker. Like you're more of a warrior if you say, hey, something's got to give, I need to go get help,
Absolutely. And you think of, those of us that, regardless of how long you spent in the military, you know the system, especially if you're a career soldier and you got some rank up on your collar or now on your chest. We're leading, dozens, hundreds, sometimes, hundreds of men and women into battle or into training, various deployments, and there's so much pressure on us, and we get that it truly becomes kind of a drug, because there is an adrenaline level that you get in that rhythm, you're like bam bam, let's do this. And when you get out, the support system, that brotherhood, sisterhood is no longer there, and you're in a different world. And I don't necessarily like to use the word institutionalized, but when you've been doing something for 22, 30 years, I mean, it's ingrained into kind of who you are a little bit.
100%. Yep.
And it takes a bit to find out who you are beyond the uniform sometimes. And, I hope any of our brothers and sisters out there listening that, might be struggling with any dark thoughts, that they realize that, and man, will reach out to whoever they think will listen and just start talking. Just let it out.
No, that's big. That's big. And then something the veteran community doesn't like to hear, or in fact, doesn't have to be veterans, anybody struggling, is that it's a hard one to swallow because it sounds insensitive, but it's really not. Is nobody owes you anything.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Oh, yeah. People hate that when I say that on my videos. Yep.
Yeah. Nobody owes you understanding, right? Like, I don't have to understand why you're being an a-hole. Like, I don't have to understand why you're doing something, right? Like, and I don't have to make, a special room for you, a safe space for you. Like, the world doesn't have to. Now, if you're my family and I have empathy, or if you're my brother, I'm going to make a safe space for you, and then I'm going to correct you, right? Like, But it's like no, you can't just go out and doing that. So yeah, you got to own it, love it. But let's get back to the book. So we haven't read it yet. It's coming out in June.
Yep.
What approach did you take to writing it?
Jack Mercer? Yeah, is a character in the book? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That's
so how
much
of Jack Mercer is actually you? Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Nick.
Yeah, I was going to go with that one. I was thinking like, because one of my favorite military books, the things they carried.
Yeah.
And how he tells true stories through other people that aren't really the people, but their stories are true. And it's like, who is he talking about? Is that character you, or is it? How did you approach writing this book?
Well, the character is very much me, and when I was in the beginnings of the book, we were fine tuning, doing some editing. My publisher and I, we decided that this was going to be a book of fiction. It's labeled fiction, but about 85% of the stories, come from my life. And, some of them are shared experience from people I served with, but I decided to write the book like that because, this wasn't just about me. It wasn't just about Brendan Kelly and what he had to go through. This was about, so many people, even, people I served with in the civilian world and the military that are dealing with crap. So I wanted to tell a broader story that, everybody could relate to, that, not just a soldier having difficulty because of military experiences, but, post-military life. Life can suck at times. I've had multiple injuries and, the recovery time. And as I've aged, it hasn't been like a fine wine. It has been much more like a cheap bottom shelf whiskey, very harsh.
Military special.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, as we get older, it's having to go through that. But in the end, when we have a community around us, regardless of how big our community is, the couple friends, the close family, spouses, man, if we got that tight-knit community and we can be open with them and vulnerable when need be, life's going to be all right. We're going to get through it. And
agreed.
So that's kind of how I wanted to tell the story within the book, to, expand it beyond just military, but, everybody that, we go through stuff, but it's it's like the cheesy saying, it's how you get back up, you get bucked off, you get back on. Been there.
Absolutely. Yeah. So would you consider like the book like
easy until you need to apply it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You never thought it would mean you, but it means you today.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dave.
That's what I was saying. Yeah. Would you consider, a lot of authors say this, not saying that this is your case as well, but would you consider it some sort of form of therapy when you were writing the book? Or did it potentially even open up some wounds that like resurfaced again, some thoughts, some scenarios in the book, some situations? Kind of describe that process for the viewers and for us.
The writing process was very therapeutic for me because, I committed myself to be honest and truthful, and having to go through, and there's an early chapter where I talk about the first two people that I killed. And it's very authentic. It's real. And when I was writing that, going through it, I could see it right before my eyes. And there were moments I had to pause. Step away, remind myself that's the past. It's an unfortunate event. it's part of me. And I tell myself, if you got to cry, get it out, because it sucks, point blank. But I'd come back to the story and I say, I'm not the only one. So it was very therapeutic and getting it out there. And I'm proud that I did it. I think it's a great piece of work, and I'm hoping it'll help someone out there in need.
Love that. Yeah, Dave's lucky because the one guy he thought he killed was actually another guy. So that saved him. Somebody with a better shot than him. Really.
Oops.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, I'm kind of gonna bring up that scenario, and I can totally relate. After that happened, when because especially in an infantry platoon, you never know who shot who. You do sometimes, but then when a whole platoon is firing at the enemy, exactly. It's like guys got 20 bullet holes, But with that one specifically, there's a lot when we were in Barkuba that I deal with, my demons, right? But that one, I had nightmares for weeks, even while we were over there. Immediately, my brain was just not processing it, because especially after we cleared the objective, I was literally sitting next to him, dead on the ground, eating MREs before we were going to go clear the next house, and it was just like, whoa, shoot, I didn't step on a bug or accidentally hit a bird, so I can definitely relate to that one. Until this day, my nightmares are. One of them is about a similar scenario to, what I experienced in Barkuba. So I appreciate you sharing that, man. Yeah. And there's tons of other veterans that are dealing with that as well. 1,000%.
Absolutely. And, I only had a handful of deployments. I have friends that I served with that, have been on 5-6 deployments, and, none of them pretty. And it adds up. It's tough. And, I have a young student. Well, not young anymore. He's a young man. He joined the military out of high school, and he was one of my students that I taught. And he joined the Army. Immediately got deployed, had some very bad deployments. And I was so thankful that he called me. He just called me to talk. And we cried together. I was like, brother, I know exactly what you're going through. And fortunate enough, he had a good support system too, where he could get help. But there's a lot of us out there.
I got fortunate enough through this podcast to then get a job where I get to go around and use a virtual reality tool to train people on suicide prevention. And
nice.
We had a doctor on the show, and I was talking about some of my experiences, and then he explained it of what happened to me inside by teaching, and by telling those stories. So I would tell stories that I used to get all choked up on, right? And because they were real, and it's hard to talk. And then one of them was a failure of mine, right? And it's like, now I don't cry when I tell it, and the shrink was like, that's because you've owned it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
You've owned it. And now you can use it. Right? It doesn't go away. And we say this on the show a lot. When we tell you to get the demon out, I think Dave's wearing the shirt. Baseman's wearing the shirt, right? You get the demon out. It doesn't go away. But you can own it.
Yep.
You can own it. And like I said, I gotta get it out. Pretty sweet shirt. But all right, Dave, what's the next question? Dave, we actually used technology because we didn't get to read your book, and normally we don't do any studying before a show, except for we like reading the books. But
sometimes it's
technology
good
to come up with a list of questions.
All right.
Yeah. So, what was the hardest chapter in the book for you to write? Obviously, the book's not out, so people that are going to purchase it when it does come out, what chapter?
Don't just skip to that chapter.
Yeah.
Before you answer it, Joe's on there. Joe's an author as well. Had him on the show. His book's getting pretty close to getting a movie deal.
Nice.
But it's probably going to get rejected because of Colonel Rob, Angry Colonel on there. But nobody wants to watch him on screen. Gods of War, great book. Great book. All right.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I think the chapter that took the most time to write was, I write a chapter about the 2 Iraqi soldiers that I killed, and it was their perspective, their life, prior to them getting, hey, you to be a part of Saddam's regime. And that took a lot of thought, because I wanted to come across where it showed the human aspect of the other side. They were just normal people trying to live a life, trying to provide for their families. And then next thing you know, they're thrown into a uniform and sent out into the middle of the desert to meet the most powerful armed force in the world. And, that took time to write. I wanted to be careful with it and do justice to it. So I don't want to say it was a challenge. It's just I was careful and took the time to write it.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting take. I'll look forward to that one for sure.
I just brought it up multiple times during the show too. Like, didn't necessarily hate all the people we were fighting over there.
Yeah.
It was like you or me, right?
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
It's a choice gonna be mine. I'm gonna stay alive, and you're gonna be gone. But like,
that's it.
Yeah, and we knew that in an insurgency where we were in our roughest deployment, which was a full-fledged insurgency, and there was Al Qaeda, and we didn't have any problem ripping their throats out, but we also knew that there was people that, like, if they were in a certain part of the city, they had no choice but to try to attack us. Like, their whole families were held hostage, and it was like, again, it's me or you. So sorry that you're going against, like you said, the most powerful force in the world. But it's like, you don't feel real good about that kind of stuff. It's like, damn, dude, like, better you than me, but shit. Like, yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, next one, Dave.
I sent you the whole list, brother.
I'm letting you take over, man. This is good. You use the technology. I stole the first one from you because that's just what I do. I stole the thunder. Unless he's freezing up, I can ask.
Readers have to take one thing from this book. What do you hope it is?
Woo, that's a good one. Well, take one thing that, man, we're not alone. I don't care how big or how minute a problem is, and we all handle things differently. And so be it. That's life. We're all built different. We're unique creatures. So you're not alone. You don't have to do everything alone. Reach out. And we're human. We're allowed to make mistakes. We're allowed to screw up. It's just, you learn from it, you move on, and you try to do right. That's pretty good.
I mean, that's spot on. Yeah. I hit on that all the time.
I'll take one of your questions, Dave.
Yeah.
I got the list pulled up, and because we've had authors on here, and we've I think I have that book around here. He was Navy, and then he was an FBI agent. 7 Murders, 9 Souls, and he wrote it so that, and his main reason for writing it was so that his family could understand him, right, and that people could understand him better. So for your motivation for writing it, I know you got into a little bit of it. Do you see it more along the lines for veterans, for people who are interested in, PTSD, or is this more for like family and friends?
It's easy to say for all of the above, because I think it can be. And, if my daughters decide to read it, I think they'll get better insight. I've shared a little bit with them. I don't share much with them, about it. It's not a conversation. We sit around and say, hey, let's talk about this. No, but so I think it'll be great if they can read it, get some insight. But, the mental health community. I'm a big advocate, regardless of military service or not, in supporting that community and giving them a voice and trying to help. So that's the direction I'd go.
Love it. All right, Dave, take one more and then you can do the AAR.
I love a good after action review.
Got to do it. Otherwise, we forget what we talked about, even though we could rewind.
So let's talk about where the book actually will be when it comes out. So like anybody that's watching right now and they want to, can they pre-order it? Is it going to be in bookstores? Is it just going to be Amazon or a website? Like where can everybody get the book? And then share some links, maybe how people can connect with you after the show. There's a website. Obviously, we know about it, but we can talk about it again. And then we'll go from there.
Yeah, the book will be available at any bookstore you go to. Now, whether the bookstore is carrying it or not, it all depends on the bookstore, what they have going on. But, you could still go into a bookstore and order it. It'll be delivered. You can do it from my website, as you see below there, Absolute Love Publishing's website. So it's going to be available in a variety of sources. And, I'm working with some independent bookstores to do some little setups and visits to get the book out there around the country. So, it's going to be available anywhere. And, if you want to connect, if you want to talk about the book, or you just need someone to listen, you can check me out on my website, BrendanTKelly.com. Even same thing over on Instagram. And, I'm always happy to chat, but you're going to get the truth. So beware.
Love that. And then I guess I do have one follow-up question to that. One follow-up. Is this it? Or are you going to let it play out? Or do you already have any other books in mind? Or is this it?
Did you get the author itch? You want to write more?
Yeah. Are you going to wait and see how it goes? And then what's that?
No, I'm definitely, I'm working on a couple other books now.
Nice.
So I'm going to continue telling stories. They'll have a little bit of that military theme woven in, but also, overcoming challenges and, even working on some little bit of a action thriller.
Well, we got a question from the audience, one of your peers, another author like we talked about, Joe. Joe says, do you see your legacy now defined as an author or what you have done previously?
No, my legacy is going to be when the dust settles and, my ashes are scattered up in the mountains. Whatever people think of Brendan T. Kelly, so be it. Whatever memories I left with them, hopefully good memories, that's the legacy. And then how my girls and my wife are doing.
I got to throw a little humor into that serious answer to your question, which was awesome. But I want to be remembered as the guy who has the "Don't stop in the airport hallway" signs. That's me. Homer, Mr. Safety of Springfield. Yeah.
The new shirt idea. Maybe we should do it. Yeah. But anyway, great having you on. That was a lot of fun, and I look forward to reading it. Because you did promise us you're going to send us the book. We'll
Absolutely.
buy it too. It doesn't matter, obviously. And then I think once it comes out, I think Nick would agree totally that we'll get you back on and promote it again. It was a good time. And I got the AAR. So
yeah, you got to read the script. See, what happens? People don't read.
I wrote down three things, right? So the missing scientists didn't disappear, right? They started their own secret society, and they're kind of doing their own little thing, and they're going to be part of the Q, right? Nick said they're part of the Q.
You're going to talk to Kerber about that. So,
and then lessons from Nick's honesty cap. Don't be that guy at the airport. Okay, there's just too many things to list off of all the things that you mentioned, right? And then go buy Brendan Kelly's book, Echo of Silence, will be available in June, and we all look forward to reading it. And then we will have you back on. We usually take the summer off, but maybe prior to our little summer break, we'll have you back on and promote it again.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Final words, brother. Last words. You got anything else?
keeping it simple. Just thank you for your time. Great to connect with your community, and much love.
Love it.
Boom.
Boom.